What's up? It's Matthew Wayne, and I'm going Beyond the Smoke with Thomas Ward.
In the middle of the night, I guess, second nature, half awake and craving her head on my chest, forgetting all about all of that empty space.
Matthew, great having you on the podcast.
Yeah, man, I'm glad to do
it. I'm very interested in the story, obviously, because there's a whole process.
Huge process.
And I've seen it pretty much all of it.
You've seen, yeah.
And it's taken a while, but I think little by little you've been moving to what you thought was the right place for you.
Of course, yeah.
So let's start at the beginning.
Mom, which is how we met, actually, is through my mother, which is shout out moms for that.
The great Maria Mendel.
That's right. She's a saint.
She's a saint.
And,
She's a
but
very
basically,
lovely
yeah.
lady.
So she actually, I don't know if you knew, but she used to like sing when she was in school, and she actually wanted to be a music teacher. And so she was a great singer. My dad plays guitar and sings. My uncle plays guitar and sings, and my grandfather, mom's dad, was an organist and a piano player.
Oh, was he?
And so around 5, because I always feel like 5 years old is kind of when you come online, is what I call it. Like, my oldest memories are from being 5 years old. I don't really remember anything besides that. But, I mean, there was a piano at my grandfather's house, a guitar around the house and stuff like that. And I would just start picking it up. And, we'd go visit my grandfather, and he'd start showing me stuff. And my dad's mother, my grandma, she also had a piano in the house. So I'd tinker at that when I was over there. I was just interested. And, I mean, they were taking me to concerts. I mean, at 7 months old was my first concert, I think they took me to. And they took me to plenty more. Around 5, yeah, start playing with the piano, start tinkering with the guitar, and that kind of turned into more and more. I always remember being a little kid, we'd go visit my grandfather, and he liked to sleep in. He's an old man, so he liked to sleep in. And I'd sit at the piano like this. Okay. And Mom says, you can't play until you start hearing Grandpa come downstairs. But I start hearing his footsteps, and then all of a sudden I'm going to town and messing with it, and right off the bat, I'm sure he loved that. Yeah, so started doing that, and then in school, joined chorus because that was the only kind of musical thing to do in elementary. Middle school, got into band, started playing drums. Right. High school, really got into like marching band. But then when I was about 15, 16, fell in love with like pop punk music.
Okay.
And I started a pop punk band, and we were pretty good. We played our first show at the Tropical Smoothie in Dr. Phillips, which is still there to this day.
At the Tropical Smoothie.
The Tropical Smoothie put us on. We had a pop punk concert.
Really?
And we were, with one other band that went to.
That's fantastic.
They went to Olympia, and we were at Cypress Creek, and we told some kids at our school. They told some kids at their school, and we go to this Tropical Smoothie to play our first concert, and 200 kids show up.
Holy shit!
At a Tropical Smoothie, and to the point where it's jammed up inside. They have to leave the door open. Most of the kids are outside of the Tropical Smoothie because it's shoulder to shoulder inside the Tropical Smoothie, and that was kind of where it all started. I was like, "Yeah, I wanna do this.
I like this.
Yeah, this is fun." And so I kind of stopped doing the marching band, the school jazz band stuff, and leaned into being in a band.
But you did learn a lot of things joining the band.
Oh my gosh, valuable knowledge that I use every single day of my life. Anytime I step on stage, I'm using stuff that I've learned all through that.
Because it's important that kids understand that they should sign up.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
To all these programs that have, if they want to do music.
I'm a huge proponent of school music because it changed everything for me. And luckily, Cypress Creek was such a huge music program. And I loved playing there. Loved it. But then I got in this band. I was like, wait, girls like this better. The girls like the drumline guy.
Yeah.
But they like the guy playing drums in the pop punk band more. So I was like, okay, let's. You
did it for the girls. You did it for the girls.
I think we all do.
Tell me about the punk band. Like, what is the lifeline of this punk band?
We were. So I was 16, probably 16 to 18. Yeah, for just like the rest of high school.
2 years.
Yeah. We were just playing shows and
you guys broke up. Making of the music. I just want to see that MTV making of the music thing.
Of that first band I did? Yeah. There's somewhere we had recordings that we used to hang a microphone over the door in our rehearsal space and just play our songs. And I would die to have those recordings.
That'd be cool.
I would love to have those. I recently got sent, so I started doing emo and acoustic music. And a buddy of mine hit me up and he goes, "Hey man, I found this thumb drive that has your first songs on it. And I actually got those back.
Did you?
They're embarrassing, but pretty good, actually. They're not bad, yeah. So started doing that and playing in bands, and I got to play in a really cool band here in Orlando called Matt Butcher and the Revolvers eventually, which that took on a life of its own. We started touring with a group called the Avett Brothers. They're pretty big. They've done a record with like Rick Rubin, and they're super cool. And that kind of opened my eyes because we started doing country music.
Okay.
Which I'd been into country. I mean, Mom loved Garth Brooks when I was a kid. Shania Twain,
really?
Dixie Chicks is one of her favorite bands.
That's her style.
That's her stuff. And then Dad was super into country too, but some of the Eagles and some of the older stuff, George Jones and different stuff like that. So I got that country music upbringing, and so I joined this group, and we were doing some cool music, and that was one of the biggest experiences of my life. I thought if we kept doing that band, that's what I would do the rest of my life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it could have been that kind of thing, but there was more to be had for me.
Is that band still around?
It is not, no. But my friend Matt Butcher, who is the lead singer of that group, he does live in Nashville where I'm at now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we're both up in Nashville now, and I see him every once in a while. You know, life kept going, and being a child of like the 90s and early 2000s, found myself, performing here and there, and I've always been a huge fan of the group Boyz II Men. Mm-hmm. And some years ago, probably about 8 years ago now, I got into photography as like a hobby.
Okay.
And they come to Epcot every year. And I said, you know what? I bet you I could get close and watch the band if I wear all black and bring my camera with a big old camera lens so I look real official.
Okay.
And I bet no one will mess with me, and I can take photos of Boyz II Men and be right up front and watching them and, get the best seat in the house because I can be anywhere. Started with just, hey, I'm going to take some pictures. And I remember there was a young girl that was like part of the Disney college program. She said, hey, are you supposed to be up here taking photos? I said, yeah, I'm with the band, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And she goes, okay, poor girl. And she was sweet. And okay, yeah, sure. So I'm taking photos. And then at the end of one of the sets, this woman comes up to me. And I was like, uh-oh.
Here we go.
Jig's up.
Yeah.
I'm out. Ends up being someone that works with Boyz II Men's management. And she goes, hey, it looks like you're getting really great photos. Do you mind if we use them on social media? And I was like, Boyz II Men's going to post my photos? Yeah, let's run that. Let's do that. Yeah. So started doing photos for them for a couple of years. And then I realized the people that were working for their management weren't working for them anymore. And so one of the girls that used to run their social media said, hey, but here's their manager's number. Get in touch with him. 407 number. I said, so he lives here. Okay. Cool. So I go and I shoot the show and everything's great. But I finally have this guy's number, and for a week I'm like, I should call this guy. I don't know why, but I should call this guy. So I call him, and he picks up. He goes, hello? I say, hey, this is Matt, the guy who kind of takes photos for you guys. He goes, yeah, what's going on? I was like, not much. I just noticed the people that are working for you aren't really involved anymore, and I can do anything, is what I said. I said, I can do anything you want. Let me know.
Okay.
He goes, yeah? I said, yeah. He said, okay, cool. Let's plan to meet up soon. So I took that chance, but it took a month for us to finally, I just kept badgering him. I said, hey, man, let me know when you're free. Let me know when you're free. And then finally he gives in. And
consistency is key when it comes to that. To. Believe it or not, actually, I just, that's funny you say it. I just had that happen. Like I was trying to get in contact with somebody to actually do sort of like a favor for somebody else. Right. And the person just kept dropping the ball, and I was like, hey. Let's go. Let's go. We got to do this.
Go. Yeah. I would say, consistency is everything.
Yeah, for people out there, if they want to do something, you just have to be consistent and don't let down.
And you have to really want it.
Yeah.
And you have to really have a passion for it.
By the way, legal. Care. Legal shit.
Yes. Stayed persistent, and he finally was like, sure, let's meet at my office this day, this time. I said, I'll be there. Brought him coffee. That's been my thing every time.
You bought him coffee?
Always, yeah. For the first, as often as I could, I would always, on my way. That was almost my way of making sure I could come down there and come to his office. Mm-hmm. Say, you want coffee today? The one after the first meeting.
Oh, really?
And he was like, yeah, let's have some coffee. And so I'd come in and learn so much, at a rate and level I can't even explain.
Sure.
Learned so much.
He was doing it for a long time.
Because he's the real deal. He's the real deal. He's so he manages Boyz II Men, and he manages Joey Fatone from NSYNC. And he consults for a ton of people, and just a really impressive guy. And he's been my mentor for years now.
Cool.
And so that first meeting, we, got going, and we've been ever since. So now that's been about 5 years, 6 years.
5 years, okay.
Yeah, and it absolutely changed my life. Because growing up, huge NSYNC fan, huge Boyz II Men fan, huge Boyz II Men. I can pinpoint, I have the core memory of the first time I heard Boyz II Men still. Started working with him, and it came time, he had me doing a bunch of different stuff. I mean, I'm a music guy. I'm a musician at heart. But I can do, as being an independent musician, I can do video editing, graphic design, photography.
Whatever you needed to do.
Everything, because I was doing it all for myself, like T-shirt designs and logo designs and all that stuff, because that's what I had to do to get by as an artist. So he had me kind of doing a bunch of this different stuff. But then one day, this was 2019, he goes, "Can you put a band together?" I was like, "What did you say?"
A band?
Yeah. Of course I can. He goes, "I think we're going to play the Food and Wine Festival at Epcot with Joey Fatone." I was like, "No way." Like, that's the event I've been going to watch Boyz II Men at every year.
Okay.
And now he wants me to put the band together for Joey Fatone, one of my idols as well of, NSYNC fame. And I was like, "This is surreal." Yeah. I was like, so I just called everyone I ever wanted to be in a band with, all in like if I could put a mega band
all
together.
Stars,
yes. Yeah. If I could put a band of everyone that I'm like, this would be cool, I called them all. We had a 13-piece band. But what's funny,
that's pretty big.
Yeah. What's funny is I didn't hire myself in the band at all.
Okay.
So I hired my good friend Ken to be the music director, because he's just a brilliant guy, piano player.
Knows his shit.
Has a master's in jazz and
oh, wow.
Yeah, he's just unreal. So I hired him to be like, okay, here's who I want. Here, you're gonna run this band. Here's who I think should be in this band. We call all these people, filled in a couple spots where needed, and he calls me and he goes, "Hey, so there's a few songs where like I need some percussion. There's a few different songs where I need some acoustic guitar, electric guitar. A few songs where I need some keys. I don't want to hire 3 people. Can you just come be in the..." So I hired him to be in the band.
He hires you.
He comes around to hire me to be back in the band. And so I got to go play at this great thing that I've been going through my whole life, and play with one of my idols, and I'm singing his songs with him. And
is that what he does when he goes into a concert? He plays some of the NSYNC songs?
He does, yeah. He does a lot of party songs, just like feel-good, fun songs.
Right.
But then we hit, the I Want You Back, the Tearing Up My Hearts, the Bye Bye Byes.
He can do all that legally?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's a performer on the song.
Okay.
So, yeah, we go and do all that. And then...
I just don't know the music business that well, so I ask.
So that's end of 2019. At that show... we had Ryan Cabrera come sing with us.
Yeah,
it's kind of a fun show of like Joey sings, but he has his friends come out. Cool. So Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC was with us. Ryan Cabrera comes out. Nate Morris from Boyz II Men comes out. MC Search from Third Base.
Wow.
You remember Third Base at all?
Jesus.
Yeah. He comes out and does Pop the Weasel. Yeah, right? Pop Goes the Weasel and all that. Yeah. He comes out. We had this great time. And a few months later, COVID hits. I'm sure every podcast you've done, everyone has their COVID section of the story. Yeah. And I'm sure it's very similar to a lot of people's stories, but COVID was a curse, but absolutely
a blessing.
Biggest blessing I could have ever asked for.
You have to take those kind of things and
changed
see
everything.
The positive, right?
It changed everything. So I'd been hustling like R&B and pop music for years and stuff like that. And COVID hits, and Ryan actually he started dating a girl here. They're now married. He started dating a girl that lives here, and so he gets...
Isn't she a WWE star?
The biggest WWE. She's so dope. So he gets stuck here, and he doesn't know anyone here, and he texts me. He goes, "Hey, man, do you play golf?" I was like, "Yeah," because my dad's also a golfer, so I'm like, "Yeah, I can." I'm not good, but I was like, "Let's get it. Yeah, let's go play golf." Sure. So I played a lot of golf with him, which turned into... eventually going on the road with him after COVID and doing some cool stuff. But during COVID, I was hanging with Joey a lot, hanging with Ryan a lot, and we were at our buddy Jim's house, and we had a Friendsgiving at Jim's house, November 2020. We're over there. My buddy Eric, I'm also friends with a guy named Eric. He was in the group O-Town.
Okay.
Yeah. From, Orlando fame. And so we're all over there, and I'm about to leave and go home. And I always bring my guitar to like stuff during COVID because it was like, we would mess around, go swimming in the pool, go out on the boat, play some guitar. We would like keep kind of a close circle of us that only spent time together at our buddy Jim's house. So we were kind of keeping it safe. We were all always around each other, and that was how we kind of got through it all. And but I would always bring my guitar, and they're like, play something for us before you leave. I was like, you assholes don't want to hear me. Like, we're around each other all the time. Like, what do you want to hear me play a song? They're like, no, play a song, play a song. I'm like, whatever, weirdos. So go and grab the guitar, come back, and I remember it. Jim said, play something that feels good. And I sat down, grabbed the guitar, I played Neon Moon by Brooks and Dunn. Great country song. I don't know if you're familiar.
No idea.
When we leave
I'm not a big country guy.
We'll turn you. I'll get you there. I'll get you there, boy.
Yeah. Okay.
I can. I promise you. I'll play you my new song that comes out February 3rd and February 17th. All platforms. No,
there you go. Put it out there.
But so I played Neon Moon by Brooks and Dunn, and by the end of it, Joey, Eric, and my buddy Jim are all arguing over who's going to talk first. I'm like, what are you idiots doing? Like, what is wrong with y'all? And they go, you got to go play country music. They're like, you're great at pop and R&B and all this stuff. They're like, you're a country singer.
Really?
I was like, yeah. I was like, well, I mean, I used to do it back in the day and stuff like that. And, I just kind of got into other stuff. They're like, dude, go play country music. And so I switched. I went home, wrote a country song within the next couple days. And that one's going to be on my album that's coming out. Oh. And started doing that.
This is 2020. So
this is 2020, yeah.
Your direction was always R&B.
R&B, pop, yeah. And even during COVID, which is great, my mentor, Joe, who I was telling you manages Boyz II Men and Joey, I got to do like music with those guys during COVID. Me and Wanye did a bunch of songs. We did a song with Brian McKnight during COVID, like dream stuff. But then I started...
How is Brian McKnight?
Unreal.
Incredible.
Unreal.
Yeah, he's a really great musician, right?
We were doing it all remote. So,
yeah, but I mean, who cares?
He sent me I got a raw video of the performance, and then there's the audio, and I'm putting all the audio together and all that stuff, and then I sync it up to the video. But listening to just the audio on the video, which is him singing in his house, unreal.
Really?
I'm like, this is, and same with Wanye. Both those guys, I'm just like, what is happening?
Wow.
Like, why am I here?
That's pretty cool.
What am I doing? I've had imposter syndrome the entire
surreal.
time.
That's surreal. Yeah, the imposter syndrome.
Absolutely.
The imposter syndrome is a truth.
It's a serious thing. Because I suffer from it daily. I'm like,
do you?
Yeah, daily.
I don't suffer from it daily.
Well, that's good. Well,
I'm done with it.
I need to get past it. Yeah, I'm the shit.
I'm not the shit, but I'm really in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
need to get past it because, the train's just rolling. And I need to accept, like, I have a hard time.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing that I could tell you about that is that it's basically a trust within you. Like, right? Do you trust yourself in the business and what you're doing?
Right.
And I could say that when I was young and I wanted to play professional golf. I didn't want to sell brisket. Okay. I mean, I suffered from the imposter syndrome heavily.
Right.
I took a job at Champions Gate. I was hanging out with people that were actual professionals on tour, making money.
Right.
And I wanted to be that.
Right.
And I tried to act that way and, carry myself that way, but it didn't work out.
Right.
It didn't work out.
It happens. I struggle with, like, celebrating even, like, the little wins. And I struggle to get praise. Like, if someone's like, this is so good, I'm like,
Well, I mean, we're our biggest critics.
Right. And I also think it's because I'm like, I'm not even... Like, I've done all these things. I'm not even like a quarter of the way of what I want to do and what I'm going to do. And I think that's part of it. I was like, wait till you see me here kind of thing.
I think the biggest thing that you need to do is sit down and look how far your life has moved in the last 4 or 5 years.
Even from the point we're talking about now to now is insane.
Which is...
like the accelerator
2 years.
Yeah.
2 years, 3 years.
The accelerator pedal is on.
So keep going with that story.
Yeah, so during COVID, getting to do songs with those guys, but also I was doing a podcast, kind of a live YouTube stream show with Joey and them called What Does Joey Know? And that's actually where a buddy of yours came on, our mutual friend AO, the producer who's also been on this podcast. And I was like, this dude lives in Orlando too. I was like, I want to link up with this guy because I loved his vibe. He seems like such a genuine dude, even for what he's done. It's like he could easily not be as cool as he is. But he is. He's a
cool
wonderful
guy,
human being. I was like, there's something with this. And that's when my mom goes, oh, well, Thomas knows him.
I know some people.
You know AO? Yeah, you guys are. She's like, let me see if we can get you guys together for lunch. So mom actually set up us connecting and you, me, and AO eating pigs.
Lunch,
Yeah, and I was like, this is cool. This is great. And I remember meeting AO and just being like, here's everything I'm doing. Let's work. Please. Oh, my God, you're so cool.
I remember about that conversation, which is funny because I think he still says it. Like, hey, I just did that song and in my house. It took me 5 minutes.
15 minutes on his computer.
15 minutes or whatever he said. But I was like, fuck. And now that song, became
everywhere.
A monster.
There's something going on in my life right now that I've hipped my mom to, and she's just being mom, but she keeps asking me about it every time I call her.
Oh, really?
I said, Ma, when I find out,
I'll let you know.
You're the first call right after. You're my mother. And it's like, I'm not hating on mom or anything. She's excited. No. She's excited, as she should be. But I was like, I promise you, you are the next call. So I will, if I haven't said it yet, it hasn't happened yet. So I'm sure that's similar. So linked with you guys and nothing, I mean, AO was sweet and took the meeting and hung out and was a super dope dude. And I didn't think he really thought much of me after that at all.
He did.
He did, and he changed my life. And that was a super cool moment too, because I'm like, man, this guy's texting me and telling me
he's trying to help me out.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to, which is the coolest part. The guy absolutely owes me nothing.
Nothing.
Has only met me with kindness and opportunity and a sweet dude. So meeting you guys and doing that, coming out of COVID, kind of moving the story along, I get a call from AO. And he goes, hey, man, what are you doing next week? I was like, whatever you want. What are we doing?
What do we need to do?
You tell me. What is it? I'll come over and help you landscape your yard. Sure. I don't know how to do that, but whatever you want to do, AO, let's do it. But he told me to meet him at a studio, and he says, there's going to be some guys there that I want you to meet that are running a record label.
Okay.
And he says they've got 3 artists. One's a boy band, which I might want your help with. One's a girl singer, but one's a country singer. And he goes, I got nothing for him. And I said, I know somebody, and I'm calling you. And I was like, that's huge. Like, the fact that he's meeting with these people and he says, I've got somebody. We're good. Like, yeah, let's go meet at the office. Met with them, and they wanted me to work on their country music artist. And I said, the only way I can do this is if I live in Nashville. Because I've been going up to Nashville, circling back a little bit. Ryan Cabrera and I went and played a show in Nashville, and I just felt
it was different.
A vibe.
Yeah,
I was like, there's something I needed to dig into here.
Right.
And so from that point on, I actually started going to Nashville every month. I was working with my buddy, he's an old school local as well, Johnny Damon, one of the biggest hitters in the world.
Baseball player.
Yes. So he has a drink called A Game, which they're actually now available in Publix. They just got a Publix deal, which is huge.
That's cool.
Yeah, big win. But I was, during COVID, when there wasn't a ton of music going on, I was helping them with marketing and social media and stuff like that. And I started digging into Nashville because there's so much influence in Nashville. There's so many country artists, and being a musician, I was taking this kind of hydration sports drink and taking it in this music route area that is an empty space. Because to me, athletics was full. Gatorade, Body Armor, Powerade, they're all over there.
Sure.
But, I mean, I play on stage every night, and I get worn out. So I'm like, I want to rehydrate. Let's dig into this music area. So started going to Nashville, integrating the drink there a bit, and from that, just meeting all these great people.
Don't you consider that Nashville is the place?
Oh, yeah. But they keep it that way. It's by design.
Okay.
Nashville is country music, and it's in that little community.
And that's it.
And it's hard to do it anywhere else. So I made sure I got myself there. Unfortunately, things didn't work out with the artist and that label. But I was kind of able to readjust, and I stayed up there. And it has been the most incredible experience.
Why?
I've just been able to really dig into what I'm trying to do and do it the right way. The guys that I'm working with work with the top people ever in country music.
Okay.
And they believe in me and are, giving me their time and resources to do what I need to do. And since then, I mean, I've put... end of April, I put out my first country music song, almost May.
Last year.
2022.
Last year.
And I'm almost at 600,000 streams.
Okay.
I've put out 6 songs.
Cool.
I've got 6 more coming out by March.
Right.
So just past a year of even living there, I'll have 12 songs out, an entire album that I'm putting together. And that's not easy to do.
When's that coming out?
March 2nd. No, March 3rd.
Oh, okay.
March 3rd, Friday, March 3rd. Yeah.
Cool. At the end of the day, you go through stages in life of things that necessarily maybe you don't want to do.
Right.
But bring you later on to things that you need in your...
I love that you said that because...
Right, in your toolbox.
As I've gone through everything, I've noticed that things that didn't make sense in the moment make sense now. Howl at the Moon and doing Julian pianos didn't make it made a ton of money. So I was like, well, at least I've got a full-time job, benefits, paid vacation. Yeah. I'm making a good living playing music to people that have fun every night. What more could you ask for?
Right.
But little did I know, honing that craft, perfecting as much as I can, my piano, drums, guitar, bass, singing,
huge.
My knowledge of how all that works together, my knowledge of how all these hit songs go together and why these hit songs work and why these hit songs are impactful the way they are. If I start the intro to I Want It That Way by the Backstreet Boys, I can get everyone losing their minds. Why does that work? I get to figure that out on a nightly basis, which is huge R&D. So doing that, even working marketing and social media with the hydration drink, they gave me a lot of freedom to go to Nashville and try to figure this out there. I don't have a degree in any of that. Uh-huh. I'm just like a little savvy at it. You
just took the chance.
Yeah, and them giving me the freedom to kind of figure that out and explore that turned into so much more. And I've noticed every step of the way, I'm like, well, doing this
or doesn't make sense.
COVID, going through COVID of like, okay, I'm getting to do some music with Wanya and Sean and with Brian McKnight and with 7th Streeter and all these cool people. I'm doing this online show. I started accruing fans because they're seeing me on Joey's show. Okay. And people are getting interested in what I'm doing. And it's just, all of it has made sense later on. In the moment, I'm like, why, but it all starts to make sense. It's very cool to watch that unfold for yourself. I'm sure you've seen it a lot as well.
Well, yeah, but I want to relate it too because I think a lot of people don't understand the music industry, how it's changed, right? Because now, I hope you own your masters,
I do.
Right?
Yeah. I do, thankfully.
You get money from streams, but it's very little.
It's negligible, yeah.
Right? The real money comes from performing.
It does, but even that's getting crushed down now.
Is it?
Yeah, okay. It's getting tougher
now
and tougher.
all these companies are buying, right? Aren't they paying a bunch of money for all these artists like touring?
So a lot of any of the signed artists, of course, they're putting out, the label's putting out all this money to put them on tour, and then they have to recoup it all.
Right.
So that leaves the artist, with depending on if you're a very mega artist, you're pretty good. If you're a Luke Combs, a Morgan Wallen, these kind of guys, I think they're probably fine. I'm not too worried about those guys. But some of these mid-level to, even to upper mid-level artists, I don't think it's that easy. I mean, you like filling your car up with gas? Imagine filling up a tour bus with gas. Imagine paying a tour manager, 4 or 5
That's what I'm
bandmates.
saying. Like, I like to understand that background, right? So, like, for example, the streaming's done. I mean, whatever.
Right.
The live. So, how do you make your money? Because that's, I mean,
a lot of people are selling their catalog now too.
Yeah,
even
I've seen
mega
that.
artists.
Yeah. But I mean, that's just cashing out. Right?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
But the most important thing is like people have to realize. I mean, the rapper from Clips that did the Arby's song.
Oh right, yeah.
Right,
is that,
McDonald's song. What's his name?
Pusha T.
The song Pusha
T.
There you go.
There it was T. That's what it was. You hear that.
Pusha T song.
That song come out all the way, and now there's money because that's all you're hearing.
Right.
So that's actually been a huge way for people to make a living.
So how the business works now is what, really? Because now you're saying that doing shows,
depending on the level, yeah. It's hard to tour. I mean, I'm working on putting a small tour together with a friend who he's played piano for Brett Young, which is a big country music artist.
Okay.
He's been playing piano for Brett Young for years, stepping out, doing his own thing. He's got a great social media following, and him and I are talking about the only way to do it is to share a band.
Because that's the toughest part, I guess. You have to tour to put yourself out there to be, captivate captivate a fan base and all that. So I think the whole process, which is what we kind of want to put out there, is you're a small singer, right? You have to tour a bunch.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way that you're going to get out there. Mm-hmm. Social media, has it made it easier, tougher?
Signing up for being a musician, like I said, I've done graphic design, I've done video, photos. I'm also now a data analyst.
Okay.
So
a data analyst.
And content creator, right? So that has been a struggle because it's such a flooded market, TikTok, Instagram, and all that stuff, and you just have to do it. You have to do it. And I'm trying to. My New Year's resolution is to stay consistent, keep making content, get out there, because you can get yourself going on there. And record labels, while they're good to be like, they're great banks, but they've also got great connections and all. But it's not just like my music's great, which it is. Go check it out. My music's great, but also a label's not interested in just my music. They want to basically buy a guaranteed following and interest in me.
Sure.
So that when they go to market me, they're not having to find that. If I'm able to right now, I've got a nice following, and I appreciate all the people that support and are a part of it. But for me to get real traction with interest from labels or publishing companies, booking agencies, I've got to 10x what I've got right now. So that's the warpath this year, getting on the road, trying to 10x the online social presence. I'm calculating how many followers I need to accrue a day right now.
A lot of people want to get in the restaurant business because somebody tells them that they cook good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, go ahead, open the restaurant. Good luck. You want the recipes too? I don't know what else to fucking tell you.
Very similar in music too. Yeah. People ask me, and I'm like, you just kind of got to get in it and figure it out.
Yeah, but it's tough, right?
It's tough.
A tough business because you not only have to travel a bunch.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
But the exposure, it's like that aha moment where almost like it shifts, and it shifts real quick.
Yeah.
So let's say right now you put out an album, something goes viral, boom.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's an explosion.
Mm-hmm. Then my phone starts ringing with opportunities.
Right. Well, then you become, now it's open to America, right?
Right.
Which is a huge, huge market. Mm-hmm. Especially in the country music business. I don't know, outside of the United States, is it a big business?
It's actually starting to take off in the UK quite a bit, which I'm interested in getting over there as well, because as you've seen through music history, their music comes over here and blows up, but our music also goes over there and blows up. That's how, the Beatles were all influenced by Chuck Berry, Elvis, all these guys from the States. And then going past that, bands like Nirvana and what have you, all influenced over there that brought bands like over here that blew up as well. So one hand feeds the other, and UK is really getting into country right now. So I'm super interested, and I might have an opportunity to go over there in a couple months.
That's cool.
So I'm trying to see what we can piece together. Because I also think there's a little grace for a smaller country music artist there, because they want the country music there.
When you talk about, for example, this tour that you want to put together, right? It's almost like you have to put a business plan, financials, all that shit. So
everything, man. I've got a list of 12 cities that are spread across 9 states, because I'm central to Nashville. So I've picked cities that are 6-hour drive out, 3-hour drive out, and then I can come home. So I have 12 cities. I want to do 1 week in a month where I do Kansas City, St. Louis, home. Little Rock, Memphis, home.
Okay.
Chicago, Indianapolis, home. And Birmingham, every direction from Nashville. And hit those twice a year. And I think that's a modest place to start. But it's tough right now, without a viral hit or something going crazy online. I could be driving 6 hours, like what we were talking about, the cost and all that. I could be driving 6 hours to St. Louis and 20 people show up. And that's a thing. That's a tough thing to swallow. It gives me hope for myself, because I don't have any hits yet. I do. It's just no one's heard them.
No one's heard them.
We're working our way out there. We got to get the numbers.
You just have to put it out there, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why we're trying to hit the road this year, and that's why I'm grateful to be on this podcast with you, because it's It's all a vessel. It's all a vessel to grow.
Yeah, to put yourself out there and kind of get people to understand what's the message, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you asked me earlier, why do I do this podcast? And that's part of it. You know, it's just a story, understanding, like, how do I think as an entrepreneur and putting it out there. I don't know if there's some people that listen to it, some people watch it, and I appreciate it, but I mean, I think there's a lot more people that you could put it out there, and maybe one day it goes viral. Who knows?
I think there's value to people getting to know you as a person too, because something I'm learning with social media, and that's why I think it's brilliant that you do this. Because granted, you have a great restaurant that Mom and I are going to go eat at later today.
Yeah,
because that's what I do when I'm in town. Right? I always take Mom down to Pig Floyd.
She likes Pig Floyd.
But it's interesting to know you, the person behind it, and that adds value because people start to care about you, therefore care about the restaurant. And I think that's the way it is that's the path of social media. And for me as an artist, and that's part of why I wanted to get on here, is because people to know me more. If you know me and you enjoy me, go check out some music, because the music's some of the best country music out there. But I think it helps to maybe know the person a little more behind it, and the person is the most important thing. That's the story, the person,
the whole process. I think that is the most important thing. Like, people understand that whole process, because everybody dreams. Yeah, right.
We all want something in life.
Yeah. And they dream about owning a business, or being a country music singer, or being the next NSYNC. You know, who knows, right? I dreamt about being, a professional golfer, and when I went into that world, it's a lot tougher than it looks from the outside. Right. You know what I mean? So it's just, people try to envision how it would look, and I think listening to other people that are doing it and maybe not succeeding or succeeding is very important.
Your dream of whatever you want to do is the inside of your house. And if you don't have the keys to your house, you're going to find a way to get in your house, right? And that's the way I look at my career, is if I can't just go through the front door of the music industry, I'm going to find an open window. I'm going to check the back door. I'm going to get inside this thing.
Or you're going to call somebody
to get
the house open.
Yeah. But like, that's the way I view a dream, is like a locked house that you have to find a way in. Mm-hmm. Don't break in illegally. That's
what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people relate it to other things. But what I'm saying is, just be persistent in what you want to do.
You'll get in
once you have what you want to do. Because a lot of people fight to figure out what they want to do. Right. But once you figure it out, burn the boat. Keep listening to the no's, and eventually something will play out.
Yeah, I'm thankful for that, as I've always known I wanted to do music. Right. I just fell in love with it, and then when I was 11, I saw the movie. Do you remember the movie That Thing You Do? Yeah. Have you ever heard of that movie? Yeah. So I saw that movie, and I was like, wait, so this is a job? You could just do this as a job? Yeah. Because everyone in my family was musical, but as like a hobby, and then they would go and do their jobs. My mom worked at Disney. Right. My dad did this. My grandfather was a professor at UCF. Right. They would go off and do their jobs. And I was like, wait a minute, this is a job. I'm just going to do this.
Can you please tell everybody where to find you? How can they listen to your music? Okay.
I have a song coming out February 17th, Wrong Side of the Bed, which is quite possibly the best song I've ever done, and was the hardest song for me to acquire, to get to record, and I'm super thankful to be able to record that one. Wrong Side of the Bed, February 17th. Album comes out March 3rd, and I have some other stuff I can't bring up just yet. Great. But it's fair. If you follow me on Instagram. That's where I put everything. Matthew Wayne Music on TikTok, Matthew Wayne Music on Facebook, MatthewWayneMusic.com.
Awesome.
There we go. Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Thank you,
Appreciate
buddy.
It. Yeah. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm going to sit here till you subscribe. Hello? Subscribe.